Grace always wondered why her grandfather Henry spent hours writing at his old wooden desk every evening. When she finally discovered his secret, she found drawers full of beautiful handwritten letters, messages of comfort for grieving families, encouragement for struggling students, and hope for anyone who needed it. But Grandpa had been too shy to send them, until Grace decided to become his secret mailman. But the true power of these handwritten letters hadn't even been revealed yet. On that quiet Saturday afternoon in October, 9-year-old Grace Chun was bored at her grandfather Henry's house. Her parents had gone out shopping, leaving Grace alone with her grandfather. 82-year-old Henry was sitting in his study as usual, carefully writing something. Grace watched him from a distance. Her grandfather did the same thing every day. After breakfast, he would sit at that old wooden desk, take his fountain pen, and write for hours. "Grandpa, what are you writing?" asked Grace, standing in the doorway. Henry looked up and smiled. Just writing down my thoughts, sweetheart. Letters. Something like that." Grace approached curiously. On Henry's desk were beautiful papers, pens of different colors, and envelopes. But what caught her attention most was that one of the desk drawers was slightly open. "Grace, could you go to the kitchen and bring me a glass of water?" said Henry. As Grace went to the kitchen, that slight opening in the drawer kept bothering her. When she brought the water glass, Henry had gone to the bathroom, leaving the desk empty. She gave in to her curiosity and opened the drawer. What Grace saw in the drawer surprised her. There were hundreds of letters. All were in envelopes, addressed, but none had been sent. The names on the envelopes were names she didn't recognize. Mrs. Johnson, Elm Street 45, Sarah Martinez, Oak Avenue 12, Mr. Thompson, Pine Road 78. Grace picked up a few envelopes. All were written in Henry's careful handwriting. But these were letters that should normally be sent. Why were they sitting here? Unable to contain her curiosity any longer, Grace opened one of the envelopes. Inside, in beautiful, careful handwriting, were these lines. "Dear Mrs. Johnson, I read in the newspaper that you lost your husband. I wanted to reach out to you during this difficult time. I want you to know that you are not alone. Your pain will lessen with time, and beautiful memories will remain. Give yourself time and be patient. With love from a caring friend." Grace's heart started beating fast. What did this mean? Was her grandfather writing letters to people he didn't know? She opened another letter. "Dear Sarah, I heard that you were unsuccessful in your university exams. I want you to know that this is not an end, but a new beginning. Sometimes the greatest successes come after the greatest disappointments. Never give up. Someone who believes in you." At that moment, she heard Henry's footsteps. She hurriedly put the letters back, but it was too late. When Henry entered the study and saw Grace with the drawer, he stopped. A worried expression appeared on his face. "Grace, were you going through that drawer?" Grace was embarrassed, but decided to be honest. "I'm sorry, Grandpa. I was just curious. What are these letters?" Henry took a deep breath and sat in his chair. "Sit down, Grace. I think I need to explain to you." Grace sat in the chair across from him. These are letters I wrote." "But to whom? And why don't you send them?" Henry took off his glasses and cleaned them. This habit he usually did before explaining a difficult topic. "Grace, I've been reading about people living in this town for 40 years. In newspapers, local magazines. Who got sick, who is grieving, who is facing difficulties. Then what happens? Then I write letters to them. Comforting, encouraging letters. But..." Henry paused. "But what, Grandpa?" "But I can never send them. Because they don't know me. It would seem strange to them." Grace thought about the letters. How beautiful, how heartwarming they were. "But Grandpa, these letters are so beautiful. People would be very happy if they read them." Henry smiled. "Do you think so?" "Yes, definitely." That evening when Grace went home, her head was full of these letters. She knew how kind and thoughtful her grandfather was, but she didn't know he cared about so many people. On her way to school the next day, an idea came to her mind. What if she secretly delivered these letters? Her grandfather thought no one would know him, but what if he didn't sign them at all? After school, she went straight to her grandfather. "Grandpa, I have a proposal for you." Henry looked curiously. "What proposal?" "I can deliver these letters." Henry was surprised. "You? But how?" "Secretly. We won't sign them. I'll leave them at doors like a mailman. Henry thought. Grace, this is very risky. What if people notice? They won't. I'm very fast. Grace's determination had impressed Henry. Maybe it really was time for these letters to reach people. Okay, said Henry. But we must be very careful. Grace jumped with joy. This will be wonderful. The next day, Henry gave Grace a letter for the first delivery. This letter is for Mrs. Rodriguez. Her husband had surgery last month. He's recovering. Grace took the letter in her hand. On the envelope, it just said, Mrs. Rodriguez, Maple Street, 23. Grandpa, how will I know it's the right house? I researched it. They live in house number 23. Blue door. So how will I leave the letter? Put it in the mailbox. Like regular mail. Grace set off excitedly. When she arrived at Maple Street, she found house number 23. It really did have a blue door. She looked around carefully. No one was there. She quickly put the letter in the mailbox and ran away. Her heart was beating fast, but she was very excited. She had completed her first mission. 3 days later, Grace saw something very interesting while reading the local newspaper at her grandfather's house. Grandpa, look, in the newspaper was a small thank you notice. Thank you to the kind friend who sent the letter. My morale was very low after my husband's surgery. Your letter gave me hope. I don't know who you are, but God bless you. Maria Rodriguez. Henry's eyes filled with tears as he read the letter. Grace, this is incredible. So your letter really worked. Yes. This is the first time I know someone read my letter. Grace smiled proudly. I can deliver more letters. Henry thought. But we must be careful. No one should notice us. Don't worry, Grandpa. I'm a very good secret agent. In the following weeks, Grace established a regular delivery system. Henry gave her 3 letters a week and Grace delivered them on different days. The letters were very diverse. Courage letters to families with sick children. Hope letters to people who lost their jobs. Friendship letters to elderly and lonely people. Success wish letters to students. Grace planned a different route for each delivery, never going to the same place at the same time. Grandpa, how do you find these people? I read newspapers, follow local news. Sometimes neighbors tell me. And you write special letters for them? Yes. Each person's situation is different. Each letter should be special for that person. Grace understood how empathetic her grandfather was. He wasn't just writing, he was really thinking. As weeks passed, more thank you notices began appearing in the newspaper. Unknown friend, your letter gave me strength when I lost my job. I found a new job. Thank you. After my mother died, the letter you wrote eased the pain in my heart. Whoever you are, I'm grateful to you. The letter you wrote for my sick son gave hope to the whole family. May God bless you. Henry became happier every time he read a letter. Grace, the letters I've been writing for 40 years are finally reaching people. And they're so happy. But Grace had noticed something. Articles about the mysterious letter sender that aroused curiosity were also starting to appear in the newspaper. Grandpa, people are starting to get curious. Henry worried. Maybe we should stop? No, it's going so well. I'll just be more careful. A week later, Grace encountered something unexpected while making a delivery. While leaving a letter on Pine Street, an elderly woman was watching her from the house window. Grace wanted to run away immediately, but the woman came outside. Little lady, wait a minute. Grace froze. She had been caught. The elderly woman approached. Grace was scared, but the woman's face was smiling. Are you the one bringing those beautiful letters? Grace didn't know what to say. I just... Don't worry, sweetheart. I'm Mrs. Henderson. I lost my husband last month. The letter you brought touched me very much. Grace relaxed a bit. Was the letter good? Good is an understatement. It gave me joy in life again. Who writes these letters? Grace hesitated. It's a secret. Mrs. Henderson smiled. I understand. But tell that person they're very special. And you're a very brave girl, too. Grace smiled proudly. Thank you. When Grace returned home, she told Henry about the situation. Grandpa, Mrs. Henderson saw me, but she wasn't angry. She thanked me a lot. Henry was worried. Did she learn our secret? No, I said it was secret. But she was very happy. Henry thought, maybe it's not harmful for some people to know. The next day, Mrs. Henderson visited them. I want to meet the person who wrote that letter. she said, sitting in Henry's living room. Grace looked at Henry. Henry hesitated, then decided. I write those letters. Mrs. Henderson was surprised. You? But why? Because people are left alone in difficult times. And sometimes a little support makes a big difference. Mrs. Henderson's eyes filled with tears. This is a wonderful thing. How can I help you? Help? Yes. Maybe I can deliver some letters too. Grace got excited. That would be wonderful. So their team expanded. With Mrs. Henderson's participation, the operation became more efficient. Now they could deliver 6 letters a week. Mrs. Henderson also had her own unique approach. Grace, I can approach elderly people more easily. You go to families with children. Good idea. Henry wrote new letters every day. Grace and Mrs. Henderson delivered them. One day Grace asked Henry, Grandpa, don't you ever get tired? Writing so many letters must be difficult. Grace, this is my favorite thing. When I write each letter, I think about how happy that person will be. This makes me happy. But sometimes there are sad situations too. Sick people, grieving people. Yes, but that's exactly when hope is needed most. Grace listened to her grandfather's wisdom with admiration. 2 months later, local newspaper editor Sarah Kim noticed the situation. This mysterious letter sender thing is very interesting. Let's do a news story. A big article appeared in the newspaper. Our town's mysterious angel. Who is this kindness fairy? The article continued. Something very special has been happening in our town for the last 2 months. People going through difficult times find beautiful, handwritten letters at their doors when they least expect it. These letters are so special that sometimes they change people's lives. Grace got excited reading the newspaper. Grandpa, they're talking about us. Henry was a bit worried. I hope no one figured it out. Don't worry. We didn't give any clues. After the newspaper article, something interesting happened in the town. People started being kinder to each other. Grocery store cashier Sarah told Grace. That mysterious letter sender person affected everyone. I started being kinder to my customers too. School principal Mr. Wilson made an announcement. Inspired by this event, we're organizing a kindness week at our school. Grace felt very proud hearing these things. They weren't just delivering letters, they were changing the whole town. Grandpa, do you know? Your letters changed the whole town. Henry smiled humbly. That's quite an exaggeration, Grace. No, really. People are being kinder to each other. Mrs. Henderson told her friend Mrs. Chun about the situation. Mrs. Chun wanted to join too. This is such a beautiful thing. I can help too. Then neighbor Mr. Martinez also learned and he joined. Now they had a team of 5. Henry, writer, Grace, main deliverer, Mrs. Henderson, elderly clients, Mrs. Chun, Chinese-speaking families, Mr. Martinez, Spanish families. Grandpa, now we can reach so many more people. Yes, Grace. But what's really beautiful is this. It's not just letters anymore. This is a community. Henry was right. These 5 people had developed a real friendship. One day Grace was assigned a very special letter delivery. Grace, this letter is very important. It's for 8-year-old Tommy. He has leukemia and is in the hospital. Grace took the letter. What did you write? I gave him courage. And I prepared a special surprise for him. Grace went to the hospital. She found Tommy's room and gave the letter to the nurse. This is for Tommy. A special letter. The nurse gave the letter to Tommy. Tommy was very happy after reading it. The letter said, Dear Tommy, you are a warrior. You fight bravely every day. There are many people supporting you. And I have a surprise. A special friend is coming to visit you tomorrow. The next day, Grace went to the hospital with her grandfather. Henry had brought a special storybook for Tommy. Tommy was very surprised and happy to see them. Are you the ones who send those letters? Henry smiled. Yes, Tommy. You're a very brave boy. They had a wonderful time with Tommy that day. 6 months later, the local TV channel wanted to do a news story about the situation. Journalist Lisa Patel had found them. I want to interview you. This story has touched people very much. Henry hesitated. But we want to stay secret. We don't have to show your face. We'll just record your voice. Grace said, Come on, Grandpa. People should hear your story. Henry finally agreed. The TV interview was very effective. Henry's voice was heard, but his face wasn't shown. I've been writing letters for 40 years because I believe everyone needs support in difficult times. And sometimes a small message from an unknown person can give great hope. The TV news went viral. National news covered Henry's story. 82-year-old retired teacher has been touching people's lives with handwritten letters for 40 years. Letters started coming from all over the country. People were thanking Henry, saying they were inspired by him. Grace got excited every day when the mailman came. "Grandpa, 50 letters came today. Incredible. What are people writing?" "Most are thanking you. Some have also started writing letters like you." Henry was very happy. His story was encouraging other people to do good deeds too. A year later, Henry made a special offer to Grace. "Grace, would you like to learn to write letters too?" "Really? Can I write too?" "Of course. You're a very understanding and kind girl. You'll write very beautiful letters." Grace wrote her first letter to a 7-year-old girl. The girl had lost her mother. "Dear Emily, I'm Grace. I'm 9 years old. I heard that your mom died, and I was very sad. I know you're going through a very difficult time, but your mom loved you very much, and her love will always stay in your heart. You are not alone. Your friend Grace." When Grace finished her letter, Henry read it proudly. "This is perfect, Grace. You're a real letter writer." Today, Grace is 15 years old. Henry is 88 and still writing letters. But now he's not alone. Grace also writes letters regularly. Mrs. Henderson, Mrs. Chun, and Mr. Martinez continue too. A Kindness Letters Association was even established in the town. It has 20 members, and they meet every week. Grandpa, do you know? What you started has now become a big movement. Grace, what's really beautiful is this. This movement is based on love. And love always grows. Grace is now preparing for university. She wants to study psychology. I love helping people. I learned it from you. Henry smiles proudly. You are my greatest achievement. Today, Henry's letters are read not only in his own town, but all over the country. His story inspired thousands of people to write letters. Grace continues to write letters even while preparing for university. Writing letters isn't just a hobby, says Grace. It's a way to share love. This story teaches us this. Sometimes the biggest changes start with the simplest actions. Henry's handwritten letters didn't just touch individual lives. They changed an entire community. And Grace's discovery shows that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden closest to us. Because in the end, written words may disappear, but love remains forever.